How much do we really relax? When we sit for meditation practice, most of us probably spend, 1, 3, maybe 5 minutes relaxing. And the truth is, it requires many weeks and months and even years of learning how to properly relax the body for deep, profound meditation experience. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't practice meditation itself and just practice relaxing. There's no clear delineation between the two, but in this video, I will be doing something a little bit different from the Tarot and Kabbalah series that has been ongoing for a while now on this channel, where I will be giving some practical tips on how to relax based in my own experience. These are really 5 tips, and they have helped me to really pay more attention to how relaxed I am in not just meditation practice or mantralizing the chakra vowels, but also even right now, moment to moment, while recording this video, driving my car, shopping for groceries, interacting with family, perhaps in challenging situations or tests, if you will. So that's really the focus, and I would even encourage you right now, really, as we dive into the first tip here, really pay attention to how relaxed are you in the seat that you're sitting in. Maybe you're on the couch, maybe you're on your bed, maybe you're driving your car. How tense are your shoulders? How's your belly, your waist, your hips? Notice the tension in the body. And it's okay to notice that there's tension. Simply release the tension and sit more in the present moment in a relaxed but alert way. And for the first tip in the video, when you sit to meditate, it's very helpful for this reason that I just pointed out right here, right now, to use a meditation timer that allows interval bells. I would recommend the app Insight Timer, which is the one that I use. I'm sure there are others, or many apps, but having interval bells you can set for every 10 minutes, 5 minutes, however many intervals you would prefer. Having those bells will allow you to remember to do this little check that I just pointed out. Check your shoulders, check your back, your belly, your waist. Where do you hold tension? Maybe it's the neck. The belly is a very common place for most of us hold a lot of tension. So yeah, that's the first tip. Very simple one. But it does help with the second tip, which is play with each mantra to find its chakra resonance. If you've watched Arcanum 7 on this channel, where I go into the mantras and the chakras, the 7 primary chakras, then you'll be familiar with the E, E, O, U, A, and S vowels. Now, of course, if you're a linguist or a grammarist or, a usage nerd, I suppose you could say, that the mind might create some tension some contention around the use of the word vowels, but we're talking in esoteric terms. These are vowels in the esoteric sense. And when you play with each mantra to find its chakra resonance, what I mean is use the interval bells. Say you set them for 10 minutes. Maybe you do, maybe you're really a very dedicated spiritual warrior student, and you set a meditation timer for 70 minutes, and you do 10 minutes with each chakra, right? There's 10 spheres in Kabbalah, and so that's a wonderful place to aim for if you are really dedicated. You don't have to do that many. You could do 5 minutes, or 3 minutes, if you will. Whatever is most comfortable for you, but you can set the interval as you like on the app that I mentioned, or any app with an interval timer. And during that interval, start with the I mantra, which is sounds like E. Start with that mantra and play with it a little bit. Find where it resonates most with your third eye, and the right between the eyebrows. Maybe it's a higher octave, or perhaps it's a lower octave. You might find that you could use it in both ways, but on that particular day, you prefer using the lower octave. Really chanting the mantra like a Buddhist monk. But perhaps on another day, because the energies of that day are different, maybe it's a different time of the year, you feel like a slightly higher octave, like maybe singing the mantra a little bit more, and that resonates more with you and you get more energy from that. And really, that's the key thing. We should be finding the resonance that really sings in that center, so we feel the vibration. This is why it's very helpful to start with the mantras aloud, and then we can use that vibration that we find by playing with it to help strengthen our concentration, right? Because we're kind of playing like an innocent child would play, right? And we're using this as a way to get out of mind, right? If you're playing with the chakra just a little bit, until you find the resonance that fits your practice for that day and in general, and you get familiar with each of the 7 vowels, that will help to really focus attention. And that brings us into the third tip, which is learn how to pause and be aware, not just in meditation, but moment-to-moment life. And this is related, of course, with what I opened the video with, which is to notice any tension when paused, any tension in the body, and relax that tension. But this is related with the second tip about playing with the chakras, which is with the mantras, which is to say that as you do this practice with time and effort, and you start pausing more often and relaxing the body more often, particularly during mantralization, you're going to likely notice that there's tension in the body as you mantralize. And that's okay. That's part of using the body, is creating a certain amount of tension in the muscles, right? To move our arms, our legs, to move the diaphragm, to mantralize. But what we're seeking is as much balanced action, or balanced mantralization in this case, as possible. So as you pause occasionally, maybe a interval bell goes off and you switch from one chakra mantra to the next, you notice there's some tension in your belly, or there's some tension in your shoulders, or maybe there's even tension in your larynx, in your throat, in the way that you're mantralizing. Simply notice that tension and pause and slow down and release it, and you'll find that the practice you are doing will deepen on its own. And for the fourth tip on this particular video, this is something that I've practiced more recently, and I have found it to be very helpful in stabilizing the body, but in a balanced way, is to reflect upon how a great tree meditates, or that is to say, simply is, right? Because plants don't need to meditate, they simply are, which is what meditation practice is really helping us to, well, practice. If you reflect upon a great tree a little bit, you might consider how a tree is both firm yet supple, right? And our spine is meant to be this way in meditation. Yes, we need a firmness in the spine to sit upright, right? Ideally, we don't need back support, but if we need some back support, that's okay too. This still applies. As you sit in a chair with your back upright, or as you sit on a bench or on a pillow, or on the floor, or at the edge of a chair without any back support, the spine should be upright, firm, but there should be a certain amount of suppleness so that if we were to have a wind pass us by, right, have a breeze blow through us, the body wouldn't resist the wind, it would move with the wind. And you can visualize an oak tree or any great tree that you feel a certain, resonance with. In meditation, you can visualize that to help you reflect on this, and you can combine this with the previous tip of pausing, being aware, noticing any tension in the body and relaxing that tension, and combine it with that firm aspect of the center of the tree, of our spine, right? This can be a tricky part of learning how to meditate without any back support for new meditators. They'll hear, well, you need to relax your body, relax your entire body. And so they relax their entire body and they slump forward, right? Or they slump backwards. The mind will go, how do I do this? What's this mean? What does it mean to relax the body but keep the spine upright? Well, the spine is our tree trunk of the body, right? It's the part of the body that holds everything together. So this should be firm, not tense, not stiff. Firm. There is a gentle curve to the spine. And if you reflect upon a tree sits upon itself. Every layer, every upper, higher and higher layer of the tree rests upon the layer just below it. And in the same way, our spine should naturally rest upon itself like a great tree. We're not stiffening and straightening the spine. You don't need to roll the shoulders back and stick out the chest to feel like you're sitting upright. That's a game of the mind that our mind likes to play. So really reflect on this, really play with this concept of reflecting upon a great tree and, kind of letting that tree teach you how to meditate. And really we're asking our being to help us learn how to meditate, but when we are consciously using our imagination and learning how to be receptive in meditation, our being is teaching us. So if our being is using a symbol of a tree, or there are other symbols, other things in nature you can use, of course, but for me at least, and perhaps for you, the tree sort of symbolism really helps. And then lastly, for the fifth tip, and I've said this before, but this relates to everything that I just said very intimately, is to always work to hear your intuition. Now, as you learn how to relax the body and really place awareness in the body more, you may also find that you become a little more sensitive to your intuition, which is great. That's very useful. And you can scan your body as needed, from foot to head or from head to toe, whatever direction is intuitively the one that resonates with you. And another practice you can do to learn how to work to hear your intuition is, of course, the O mantra, which you can actually combine with a visualization of a brilliant blue-white light in your heart center. And This will help to develop clairvoyance as well, but especially will help to develop intuition, which is very, very important to develop alongside clairvoyance, because clairvoyance allows us to see the inner worlds. But remember, we have psychic aggregates, we have, egos in our inner worlds, in our emotional world, our mental world, etc., that show up in our dreams. And so we really need intuition to help us learn how to discern more between what is ego, what is an aggregate, and what might be a divine being, an angel, whatever word you would like to use to describe those types of encounters in the internal worlds. So I would say you could do that O mantra and blue light visualization for 20 to 30 minutes to start, or 30 to 60 minutes if you really have built up a practice more. And if you're really consistent with this will actually help a lot to have more clarity in your lucid dreams and any astral experiences. It will help you to remember them a little bit more as well. And it will really open up the internal worlds for you, the inner worlds, not just in lucid dreams and astral experiences, but also moment to moment life, because they're always here. The astral is here right now. The emotional center that we all have is the inner astral world that we all have. And the mind, the mental center is connected to that. Those are both the fifth dimension. Really, this practice is very, very foundational, I would say, in a lot of ways. Not just the O mantra and the visualization, but all of these tips, learning to relax. I'll also point to a video from Glorian from their meditation series. They did an entire episode on relaxation, and in that video you can follow along with a 45-minute, roughly I believe, 45-minute relaxation exercise. And it's very important to note that this is a 45-minute exercise, and although it's guided, it's meant for anyone listening to study and exercise along with it, but then eventually take it into their own practice. And, it's 45 minutes long. So this is something to really reflect on in our own practice. Because we all have ego, we all have errors in our psyche, in our mental and emotional and motor instinctual sexual centers, in our multidimensional body. We tend to rush into these things a little bit, maybe a lot of it. We rush often, and we want to experience things. We want to experience, and we have these eyes, these me's that want to, whatever it might be, see Atlantis or experience a past life, fly through the sky and space, and really, get answers to all these questions in the mind. And those things are perfectly okay to have. But remember that our divine Father, our divine Mother within us, like any parent, if a child is acting in a spoiled way and demanding all of these things, but not doing their homework and cleaning up their room, right, and eating all of their vegetables, as it were, if the child isn't doing these other things, then why would the parents give candies and sweets and cakes and pies to the child, right? It's a bit of a spoiled child situation. So we have to remember this about ourselves, and that especially if we've had experiences already that are beautiful and inspiring, that okay, well, now we have some vegetables to eat, we have some homework to do, we have some rooms to clean perhaps. And so learning to relax and pause more often in life and in meditation, and to mantralize every day, will really go a long ways to helping with that, to helping us to awaken, not just in dreams and in astral projection experiences, but from moment to moment, here, now, I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much to everyone who leaves comments, anyone who likes, subscribes, all those YouTube things. Very much I'm grateful for those things. And of course, especially so if you can support the channel on Patreon. And of course, through that Patreon link, you can join the Discord community where we do all sorts of, we have all sorts of discussions. We do a monthly Q&A, voice Q&A, and we share spiritual teachings, personal experiences, music, art, anything and everything that can help with these this practice of life as initiation and walking the spiritual path in a practical and a mystical way. So with all that said, thank you very much for listening or watching. I hope these tips are as helpful for you as they have been and continue to be for myself. And until the next video, I hope you have lots of inner love, joy, peace, and happiness. All right.